Good evening, everyone. This is President Adam Marcoux of the National Teachers Union. It's 8 o'clock and I'm almost late, so I apologize for that. Before we start the Q&A, I just want to cover a few things that I know a lot of people have been asking about. Coming in your email, Board of Directors, and I forgot to start that email, so I'm going to do that while I'm talking to you. Is a letter that I sent to the Board of Education this evening outlining our concerns for our hourly people and making sure that they get compensated during this time because a lot of them, they have the insurance for their families. Obviously, they need to pay the bills, and not having a check, no money for bills and no money for insurance, and what does that look like for them? So that letter went out. I'll send that in the email that I have coming out after this is done with a link to this video, so I know everyone's not on Facebook or Twitter. So what I'm going to do when we get started with the Q&A is I can see them on my side. I will do my best to keep track, to answer them as they come in. Anything that I can't answer tonight, I do have a document started. So if you notice me typing away and working on that, that's what we're going to use. I've been meeting with central office every morning with the assistant superintendents, the superintendent, special ed, student services, plant operations. So the other thing you need to know is that the school district has done a nice job with the website. If you go on and don't log in, there's a tab that says COVID-19 next to where the staff tab will be. There is all sorts of links now for lunch availability. For those of you who didn't know, they've added 6 more schools, including the Title I nursery, the 2 high schools, and some more elementary schools, in hopes that we can reach more people closer to their homes. There's information on student medication pickups. There's information on how we're going to try our distance learning. There's information on essential questions for Comcast and getting Wi-Fi capability. For those of you who haven't heard, it's my understanding that Xfinity has unlocked all of their hotspots that you see around the city that say Xfinity Wi-Fi. So that's good news for people as they try to get into places to help with the technology. They're offering free internet for 2 months, and then it's $10 after that, especially if you qualify for free and reduced lunch. So lots of great information there. They're going to update it daily, as you saw. I'm also a parent in the district, so I get the parent updates in my phone, and then I got the staff update, and then we're trying to retweet and post everything from the school district as it comes out, so people have it readily available for them. A lot of questions on sanitizing schools. So the plant operations director, Sean Smith, was in the meeting today, and they have been working on sanitizing the schools. I believe they started over the weekend in the schools that have those extra shifts, which are usually the bigger ones, like I believe the 2 high schools. But when I was at South and Dr. Crisp on Monday, I did see them working on that. So all the schools will have been sanitized by the time you attend tomorrow. In your emails from your principals, there was some what might seem strange requests to let your head custodian or custodian know where in your room or what room you were in. That's so they can go back in and re-sanitize, and as people are in there, re-sanitize areas and spaces. That's their plan for the next few days. There has been some questions about, can you get back into school once Friday comes? I don't know yet. Will they be open on a limited basis after Friday? I don't know. That's a questions that we'll probably have answers after we get through this week. There's a lot of work that's been going on district office. One, trying to work with all 17 buildings to show what distant learning is going to look like for kindergarten through 12th grade. There's also been dealing with what it's going to look like for our special education students, ELL students. There's a lot of fluid pieces to this, and as things change, plans have to change. So they are working diligently. I have been involved for most of the steps as we go along, on the phone with Dr. McKinney and Ms. Fitzpatrick, in meetings with all of them, trying to meet the needs of all our kids. This is a large task that we're undertaking, because we have such a large district, and we also have a lot of diversity. We have a high level of free and reduced lunch, so we have some economic situations to address in equity, and we are all in this together. And I've asked parents that have spoken to me, we've posted on our pages and on Twitter, everywhere, to be patient with us. This is brand new for us. We don't spend a lot of time on distance learning because it's important for our kids to be in front of us, and that's not an option for us right now. Right now, it's not going to be an option until at least April 3rd. So we have to make the best of this situation. Our parents are going to be teaching their kids, and for some of them, I saw some funny posts already asking if they could transfer their kids out to another class. I'm not sure if that's how it works. We heard some things about kids wanting to change out to different classes. It's a different set of parents. So that is some light humor as we go through this. So I'm starting to see some questions on the side. Why do some schools seem to know more than others? My understanding is that all 17 schools were receiving information from their principals today with a similar outline and template of what was expected tomorrow. We're not going in all together. We're not having a large faculty meeting. We're having small meetings together as teams in grade levels. It's going to vary by school. We have some schools that are larger than others, obviously. We have very large high schools. So your going in is based on the directions from your administration in your building. If you have questions about that, you need to reach out to your building principals and make sure that you understand their expectations for you tomorrow. There are questions about secretaries reporting. So in the emails that went out, secretaries have been asked to come to work tomorrow. It is voluntary at this point. You should reach out to your direct supervisor, whether it's an assistant principal at the high schools or a principal in the elementaries and middle schools, and check in with them about their expectations for you so you guys are all on the same page. That's not a question. Saying I'm a rock star is nice. Thank you very much. Will hourly educators be paid during closed school days? This has been a lot of what the questions I've been getting. What I started with tonight, and I've posted everywhere that I can right now, is that I've asked the school district, well, specifically the school board, to pay hourly employees because obviously we're concerned that they still need to eat and pay their bills. And a bigger question for some is how would they pay for their insurance? So that request has gone out. That letter will go out to the membership in an email later with this video with the questions and answers that I'm getting. The goal this week was to get online distance learning set up, expectations, and people paid this week. Remember, it's only Tuesday. There's a lot that's been going on. So as we get things squared away in the schools this week, then we can start looking at next week. But don't worry, we have been pushing and fighting figuratively over this. I would add that there has been a lot of collaboration going on and a lot of no one knows what the right answer to do online learning is right now. So we're just taking it step by step together and trying our best to make the best decisions for everyone. Is there a way for the district office to address our staff that is okay to not be perfect and that it's okay to be unsure? Absolutely. Let me pull out my notes from my meeting today, because what I wrote down I thought was important. And I'll make sure, I'll try to remember to include this. One of the things I wrote down was to keep it basic and keep it simple. Help and support your kids and help and support each other. We're all new to this for the most part. And they asked someone, is it have to be perfect? Absolutely not. And that's going to be hard for some of our type A people, myself included. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes and we're going to have to figure it out and learn from it and move forward. And that's okay. This is brand new for all of us as of Friday, not even Friday, Sunday at 1 o'clock when the governor's executive order came out. That's when we knew this was coming. So it's not going to be perfect. It's only been 2 days. So we're going to figure this out together. What are the teachers' expectations? What are we doing about kiddos that haven't connected or don't get it? So there is a survey for the district out as we speak, looking for information on their connectivity and Chromebook use and access at home. So that plan has not been completely finalized yet. They're still working on it. There's so many moving pieces to this that they need to get the information and then figure out where the Chromebooks are coming from or whatever's coming from wherever, to make sure that we are doing a good job on making sure everyone has access. And I think, as we have some more time for this, that we'll be able to do that, but it's still all so brand new. The teacher expectations were included in emails that I have seen from principals to teachers along with kid expectations. If you haven't seen that, please touch base with your building principal via email or tomorrow when you're in your building. Will we all get Google Classroom or will we be making packets for some? Google Classroom is definitely an option. We know we have some very tech-savvy teachers and we have some not so tech-savvy teachers, and that's okay. The technology coaches are working on that today, and they'll have more information on Google Classrooms at your building-related meetings. Do you have enough volunteers for the lunch program? Actually, the United Way of Greater Nashua has taken over volunteers for the lunch program because we are going back to work on a different basis. So if you are still interested in helping with lunches, please contact the United Way of Greater Nashua. If you just Google that, contact information will come up for you. What about families who do not have a laptop, tablet, smartphone? Is the district able to provide technology? That's a great question. They are working on that. That was part of the survey. Obviously, if you know of families in your building that might need assistance with technology, that'd be a great thing to mention to your building principal, so we can help get them access. How should we address kids who don't speak English in our classroom? They are working on translating the materials into those other languages that may be spoken in your classroom. The website automatically translates in our into different languages through Google Translator, and it's an option for every page, which is great because it does it for you. Those addressing students with ELL needs, as of right now, you should check. I'm sorry, this is going to be my answer. I don't know, and I'm sorry I don't know. I'm going to write that down on my list. How do we address students with ELL barriers? I'll add it to the list, and as soon as we have answers to this, we'll send them out. As we're starting the remote learning, report cards were going to be due. Will this be pushed back? As of right now, report cards are on hold. What that means moving forward, I don't know. We'll have to play that by ear with the report cards. Questions from special ed and related services. They haven't received direction. There's concern about FAPE, FERPA, HIPAA to deliver services. I know special ed has been working extremely hard on all of this. They're waiting for guidance from the Department of Education on a national level and on a state level, and they have to base decisions on what they're going to do on that. I know special ed is going to be reaching out tomorrow to everyone. They were waiting for building principals to establish schedules, so there was no overlap. But I would suggest that if you have concerns right now, that you might reach out to either your building administrator or the head chief school psychologist. Buildings are open starting tomorrow. Schedules should have come out from building administration. If you're not sure when you should be reporting, please check with your building administrator. Are we making up these days? No idea. My personal non-president, just Adam, who's sitting in his house idea is probably not, but that's not set in stone. I'm not in charge of that decision. I'm not sure who's in charge of that decision right now, but as soon as we are aware of that, obviously we'll share that for you. Is staff in this week because online education setup and is everyone at home again, or will the request of staff go daily? My understanding right now is that there will be staff asked to come in for the rest of the week, and then from there forward, I don't know. The plan was to get through, to set everything up for people and have a plan to start to give us some time for Monday through this coming Monday, and then address that moving forward. Custodians will be sanitizing as people come and go, and then deep cleans of the schools will be done. But as for after this week, we're not sure yet. When will trimester 3 start? I don't know. When does trimester 2 start? And I don't know. Is the district going to tell us which apps are acceptable? There's a lot of good apps out there. They're really going to suggest Google Classroom because it's free and it's part of the Google Suite. So we just... I don't know yet. I'll ask. Does the district have any apps which are acceptable to use for distance learning? Do they have a plan to address the students who did not have the signed rugs and therefore do not have an NSD 42 account? That's a good question. We can ask. RUG is the responsible use guidelines. You have to have that signed to get on the network. So if you don't have one, you can't have an account. Our secretary is asked to come in this week. I expect it in the next 2 weeks. I don't know yet. I don't believe so. But that's a fluid situation. We will have answers to everything as soon as we can have answers to these questions, but these are great questions to be asked. Just because I have an answer right now doesn't mean that's going to be the answer tomorrow as we change things and we talk about things. So just bear with us as we work through this whole process. Is there any direction for paras? Not at this time. there could be moving forward. Has it been taken into consideration that some families will not be able to take the survey since they are homeless or do not have internet capabilities? Yes, that was a question that came up, but they still felt that they needed some sort of idea from those who could answer, and then we will have people in the schools know their kids a little better, that might be able to help decide or identify those kids. We have concerns about going in for training. We are not supposed to be in groups. My understanding is that the stuff is going to be done in small groups. There won't be any large gatherings, and there are things they're talking about that could be remote. The superintendent has been adamant about no large groups. It's been very clear to us as we have done this. So that is of all of us. So, we will see, but based on everything that I saw, sorry, this is what happens when I try to multitask. I get distracted, and I'm slightly tired, so I'm sorry, so to bear with me. So they're asking about a no all call about the distance learning. I know that my child received an email, well, I received an email from my child's school. There was a video today on Twitter from the superintendent, but I will ask about how that will be communicated once we get started. Will hourly employees be paid? We don't know yet. Working on it. We'll get you an answer as soon as I have it. How long are we planning for? This week when you go in, you're planning for a week. So pretend that you're going out for a week and you need a sub, or that's what we're looking at right now. Report cards are on hold right now. Can robocalls start for parents who do not have email? That's a good question. I will ask that about tomorrow. What about insurance? If you're being paid, you'll still be your insurance will still be paid for out of your check. Manchester is putting pairs to work along with bus drivers by delivering food and packets to designated stops. Hollis pairs are helping with copying in Google Classrooms and such. Maybe Nashua parents could get in some of those. Those are all suggestions that we can talk about and see what they look like. I know the bus thing has been brought up. I'm not sure where that is at this point. What about credits for CTE programs? I don't know that answer as of yet. Is the United Way also handling donations for school supplies? I don't know who's handling school supplies donations. I did hear something that was happening. So who's handling school supplies? I'm going to put, I know it was about CTE, but in general, concerns about high school students and their credits. Uh-oh, it just moved on me. Oh, I got to scroll back up. Okay. Where did this thing go? I love technology. It's so much fun right now. Am I allowed to make packets of work for kids? I have a class that I am sure would benefit from this. I could make calls from home. I don't know the answer to that specifically, other than it's based on the expectations for each grade level. If you think that is the best way to reach your kids and get them what they need, then you should definitely consider that. Making up days does not make sense as they are doing school from home. Yeah, I don't know what that's going to look like, so we'll go from there. As of right now, going in right now is tomorrow, and the next day is just teaching staff and some secretaries. My colleague from the executive board, Gary Hoffman, just commented, be careful with Zoom. Zoom has some privacy issues, and we're going to bring up that with the district, and that's why I think they're talking and using Google because we already have it in the suites. What will our hours be for the next 2 weeks? Are we supposed to be available during the day? And if so, any ideas of the hours? I know right now it's looking like doing office hours in the morning and in the afternoon. That is all in the teacher expectations that were in emails from your administrators. Are all the free resources that were shown on the website to use okay to use? I have no idea. Be honest, none of those were vetted by anyone that I know of. They were things that kept showing up, and we wanted to offer things like anything else. You need to go through and see what's good and what isn't. Obviously, in different times, I would try to have been more helpful with that, but I don't know. Paras are not going in at this time. Oh, look, an answer to my question. Trimester 2 is supposed to end this week, Thursday, and new students are supposed to start in some classes in T3. The trimesters are on hold. You're going to keep your kids right now the way they have them, and we'll take it from there. Can paras claim unemployment? I hope they don't have to. My goal would be for them to be paid, and then we don't even have to talk about that. But we are looking at the governor's order from today and what that means for our hourly people. And as soon as we know that, we will get back to you. Oh, good. These are not comments or questions. These are comments to each other. That's great. If report cards are on hold, I assume IEP progress notes that we do through Neshus are also on hold. I don't know. That's a question for special ed. I can ask that question in my meeting tomorrow. IEP progress notes on hold. I also want to give the special ed department a chance to hear the questions and answer, and have them when they have you guys tomorrow as well. But if I can give them some of these questions now and save them all some time by having some of these FAQs to hand out to people, I hope that will be helpful. So we will check. How do I figure out my email address for the school system? It's typically your last name, first initial at nashua.edu. If you can't get in, there is, you should submit a help desk, and you can do that by sending an email to helpdesk@nashua.edu, and they will help you. Can we ask them to increase the storage on our email? Yes, that has already been asked. I will bring it up tomorrow. There's concerns about the email quota, so we're not in mail jail. So yes, we will bring that up for you. Shouldn't we at least plan for 2? Are we going back in the next week? Are we even able to? The directions that have come down is for 1 week. After that, I don't know. I don't. I'm sorry. Okay, hourly employees are concerned that if they are forced to use unemployment compensation, which covers only a portion of their pay, they need to pay for medical insurance out of pocket. Their paychecks will be next to nothing. There will be not enough left over to pay the bills. Absolutely. Again, I sent a letter this evening to the school board asking them to pay hourly employees for that reason and many others. That's posted here on Facebook, on Twitter, and will go to the board of directors, to the membership once I'm done with this portion of my evening. Are we sending home everything with the kids for their classrooms? I don't know. What are we sending home with kids? It's a good question. We'll try to find out. Our secretaries are to report. You can report. It's voluntary. You do not have to report. I would check with your supervisor. Some have offered to work from home. I don't know what that would look like, but a lot of my answers right now are check with your supervisor or your building principal. They have also been involved with a lot of these meetings and such, and will make decisions for their buildings based on their directions from central office. Our high schooler is going to be given Chromebooks. I don't know if the plan is to give everyone a Chromebook. I don't think that's the plan because we just don't have the many 11,000 devices to hand out. So they are doing a survey to ask kids and families if they have access and if they need a device. And then once that's done, they will take it from there. But it's one day at a time, and sometimes it's 1 minute at a time. How are we going to hold students accountable for completing the work? Think about collecting evidence from students of their report cards in the future. This is a seltzer. I'm just letting everyone know. That's an interesting question because holding them accountable at school is very different than when they're at home. I will ask that question. How are we holding kids accountable? Now, there might be a simple answer to that that my poor brain can't think of right now, but we will ask the question and go from there. Will we need to provide hard copies and online materials in case kids do not have online access? My name is Adam, and my tongue is broken. Let me ask the question again. Will we need to provide hard copies and online materials in case kids do not have online access? That's a question I don't know the answer to. Both online and offline materials. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Sorry. Hold on. Again, this is so uncharted for all of us. I don't know. I'm trying to know the answers to give to you as soon as I can so we can feel some relief or understanding or have an idea of how we're going to handle this moving forward. All right, so how come some teachers are getting more time in their school to plan than others? I talked to a teacher who was getting 2 hours on Thursday to work. I'm only getting 45. Please talk to your building administration. I'm sure that there are some of your colleagues who won't need to go in on Thursday, and I think the whole idea is social distancing and letting custodians know what part of the building you were in or your room. And if you need the time, work with your administration to get it done. I have not heard from the food service expectations, although I know some of them have been in helping make lunches. As soon as I know those expectations, will go from there. I know that the school may want us to use Google Classroom, but will they be allowed to use other similar free apps such as Seesaw? I just found it replying, and some such might be a little more friendly for my first graders since they can use video, voice, drawing responses. Talk to your administrator. There is no requirement that it has to be Google Classroom. They figured Google Classroom could be the easier thing to use because it's part of the Google Suite. But I think what we're trying to do here across the district is help children access the curriculum from wherever they're doing that. And if that's the way you want to go and it works for your kiddos, then, I hope you can have that conversation with your administrator. Do you know what time for the SPED meeting? I do not yet. I think it's a lot of trying to organize 17 schools around these small windows of time and making sure it works for everyone. So as soon as that information's out, we'll share that as soon as we can. Are teacher and student expectations universal across the district? We have not received any. They were in both sets of emails that I saw. I would assume, you know what that could do, that expectations are the same for teachers across the district. They might be different tweaks for the secondary students. Expectations for kids are not universal now across the district because, you know, we have 6-year-olds and we have 16-year-olds. So those should be included in emails as they go. How soon will we know about pay for the next 2 weeks? I have no idea. As soon as I know something, you will know. I did send an email to the school board. I have received one response, and I don't know where it just went. I'm gonna bring it up tomorrow night at the school board meeting. So, the school board is meeting tomorrow night, 6:30, Nashua High School North, in the boardroom. I'm assuming none of you want to come because it's, you know, 6 feet social distancing, but I'm going. You can watch it on channel 99 and stream it live from your favorite device if you don't have channel 99 in Nashua. The only downside of it is that I can't post live from in the boardroom, which makes me a little nervous because if I put my phone down or I stop looking at my computer for 5 minutes or to cook dinner, the amount of things that pop up are slightly overwhelming. So just bear with me tomorrow night when I'm at the board meeting. My colleagues Deb and Gary have been running Facebook for the most part in responding directly, so I can deal with email in the meetings in the other platforms. So as we have updates, we will post them as fast as we can. I just can't get onto the Facebook with the guest network because the way it's blocked. So, and I don't have a district issued computer to log into. So I will do my best tomorrow night to keep you posted. It says that special ed services will be provided by Google Classroom, Hangout, Phone, possibly meetings with parents. If we have to make phone calls, where would you suggest we make these calls from? It's a good question. I think the answer is going to be from wherever you are, and I can understand the concerns about not wanting to give up your cell phone or home phone. So I'm going to write that down. Where should SPED teachers be making calls from? I think *6. Hey, Mrs. Marcoux, walking by. Where I think *6 something or other still exists, where you can call and make it look like a block number. I will ask that question. That's a good question. You know, everyone in the world has my phone right now, and that's part of my job. But I don't think giving out your cell phone number or home number as a teacher to students is something that you should be required to do, regardless of when or what's happening. So we'll look into that for you and get an answer. If SPED is using Google Hangouts, can we bring laptops home and will it open to the network? That's a good question that we have on our list, because I know that when I wanted to bring my laptop home when I was teaching 5th grade that I could, and that wasn't a problem, but technology had to do something to my account to allow me to log into that computer and access the network from home. Now, it's not the grand old network, but I could still get my desktop and such. So we will ask that question and get an answer as soon as we can. So there's concerns about no way to tell how much support parents are giving to kids on an assignment. You know, and I think that's true now when we are in school with homework in projects. So, use your best judgment, make your best effort with that. It's not perfect. We're going to learn from this, I hope. And, I hope that we're never in a situation like this where we have to be doing this, but we're going to, when this is all said and done, I hope to sit back with district office, board, whomever, and dissect this. What did we do well? What could we do better? What should we change? How could we be better prepared? I don't know the answers to any of those questions, but when we start doing that, I will definitely, and be out supporting and rallying for you as we have been since this broke on Friday. And you know what I love about the people in this district is I say things and I don't know sometimes everything. Don't tell my wife that I don't know everything. She's sitting right here and she heard me. Now she's laughing and giggling at me. So
I didn't know that.
She already knows that. But what I love about all of you that are watching this, like 5 of you have just texted me saying it's *67. Makes your number come up restricted if people want to use their numbers. Email if they want to talk when teachers call backs, letting them know a restricted number is going to be calling. So I think that's good. We'll look into that. We'll ask that question, but *67 is still a thing. Oh, someone said I could drink whatever I wanted while I'm doing this. It's just seltzer. I appreciate that, but yeah, we'll just move on from that. As I said earlier, I do enjoy Starburst, jelly beans, candy, anything gummy, worms, coffee, just in case. Is it possible to ask that when sharing critical information, there is a plan so that many teacher staff get the same time? For instance, saying we have it until 8 o'clock to get it out. Timelines, time frames, everyone sending at the same time. That's a good question. I think it's kind of it looks like micromanaging, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but in some cases, that's important that this time everyone's going to send the same messages to wherever, because what's happened in the past is that some schools have info and others don't, and then there's problems. And I don't think anyone's doing that intentionally tonight. Everyone is trying to live through this. This is new for not only us, but our principals, administration. I've never, with one exception, we've been out of school for 5 days in a row when it snowed in that October thing and they canceled Halloween and moved it and we didn't have power, and that was weird. But, we want social distancing. We could get back to school when, the roads were clear. So I think everyone's been patient and great with us here at the union, which we greatly appreciate. It's just so new. I don't know. But I think having timelines, time frames might be a good part to have in place. It is St. Patrick's Day. If you missed story time this morning or at 2, it's on our YouTube page. You can go back and watch me read and try to say Gaelic words that I have no idea how to say. Can we bring home our school laptops? My belief is yes, I could bring mine home from my classroom. I don't see any different. I would just let your administrator know you're doing it. Check with them. We're checking on whether or not they can open at home. That would be the only part that we could be sticky, but we're checking on that. What do we want to do about parents who told us they don't want their child doing work at home, asking for a friend? I don't know. Like that's a tough question, but I will. I'm going to pass that one right up the chain to someone else to answer. I'll look into it for you. *67 again. Thank you for posting that. What would this district do without the executive board? I think you guys would be okay. You know, my term's up on July 31st. It expires, and I didn't turn in my paperwork yet. So, what are my feelings about Tom Brady? That's a fun question, and I can't even. My short answer is I think I'm not surprised. Honestly, I'm not. It's been 20 years. My kids don't know anything different other than winning. And it's going to be hard for them because I remember when they lost to Green Bay and that was gross, and then some of their other losses. But we knew it was coming. It was just a matter of how it was going to happen. And I think it hurts a little bit more to know that he's going to Tampa Bay. But they're the NFC, so I don't care. Google Voice gives you a fake phone number. What's Google Voice? If someone knows what Google Voice is and how to use it, and it's easy, if you could send me an email, president@nashua.tu.org, just one person, I'm talking to you, I think, replying to Jeanette. Is that you, Amanda Lee? Sorry to call you out. If you can email me and help me, that would be great. There's a lot of chatting going on in here, which is funny. That has nothing to do with me, which is great because it says there's 215 comments, and I hope they're not all for me. Is it going to be normal school hours or short hour students? Students are going to work at their pace at home. So if you want to run a schedule for them, my poor children are stuck with a teacher at their house who's also me. So there will be some sort of schedule for them to follow, mainly because I work best on a schedule and routine, and that's gone. My routine is gone. My office is now my living room. You like my bookshelf? I think it's pretty academic looking, my Batman wrapping paper for birthday presents or whatever. Fun stuff like that. So, my routine's gone. Just as long as I have enough coffee, I'll be good. Are we using design learning that shows on the special staff site? I don't know what that means. And I'm sorry that I don't know what it means. My default answer, please check with your building administrator. Another star 67, thank you. You can create a Google number if you wish and have it ring your phone or computer. Oh, that's neat. Someone just said that earlier, I think. I think that's the same thing, but that's cool. Can you ask if you can request parent updates for their phone numbers and email addresses? Absolutely. The district actually sent something out asking people to call central office today if they needed to. Listen, no hacking in the background, lady. If they could update their email address and phone numbers so we had more accurate things. And absolutely, one thing that I did when I was teaching is at the beginning of the year, I sent my own little information sheet out and asked for email addresses and phone numbers, so I had them in my files, and I had my own distribution list, which made it really easy. So yes, feel free to ask for that information. They may give it to you, they may not.
I'd like to note that I didn't use my phone before I worked out. It's not totally
Okay. Oh, someone just gave me a good suggestion. Thank you, Tim Bosch. I can give updates on a Google Doc if I have someone outside who can get onto Facebook. So I can type in the Google Doc and then they can copy and paste what I'm saying into our Facebook. That's an excellent idea. Thank you for that. I will talk to them about that tomorrow and see if we can make that happen. I'm not sure what kind of information we're going to get tomorrow night and what type of meeting we're looking at tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. Should we wear Union blue this week when we go to schools to show solidarity? Listen, my favorite color is blue. I am wearing my blue NTU, as someone referred to it, my old school, Union Blue shirt. You wear, yes, if you want, I'd appreciate it, but don't feel that you have to. These are weird times we're dealing with, so if you got one, bring it. Wear it, sure. Oh, someone brought up a good point. The problem with block numbers is I don't know, I don't answer, and I don't either. So that's a good point. So just some things that we're gonna work through as we do this. Do you know if the focus will be on new concept or reviewing, reinforcing concepts already taught? Now, I believe the state's direction was to continue education with the same rigor as if you were teaching. And I'm just curious as how we do that. Teaching in front of kids with whatever many kids you have in your smart boards or your whiteboards and your projectors and your everything at your fingertips with your kids right there when you're teaching. There can be rigor. When you're not physically there with your kids, I don't know how you do that. So I think you need to do best, keep it simple, make sure you're trying to reach your kids. And these are conversations that you can have with your administrators tomorrow as well. I just lost my whole spot. And here we go. I've heard a couple of states suggest that the in-person school year is ending. Well, that's interesting. I don't know. I pretend to know a lot of things, and that I definitely don't know. I'm hoping we go back to school. I really am. I like going to schools. I like being in classrooms. I like seeing kids. I like reading to them. That's why I spend, it's only 10 minutes of the day reading on Facebook Live. But when I was teaching, that was the best part of my teaching day. My favorite part was reading to kids. Don't get me wrong, I love teaching too, but there's something about a read aloud. I don't know. It's just everyone can take their own thing away from it. So, all right, I'm rambling. Back to questions. I can work on a FAQ doc and with that, and we can do that. The thing is that yeah, we can try that. I'm willing to try anything at least once to see if we can help, because I get a lot of the same questions, and I feel that you all need an individual response, whether it's from me or Gary or Deb or whomever's answering, because it's important to answer you and be part of our group. So someone just thanked Mike for putting up with me. Oh no, I read that wrong, but that could be it too. Thank your wife from us, Adam. She must be an angel to put up with all of us. No, it's, she paid me to marry her, so she, what can I say? It was an arranged thing, but, someone's threatening me not to leave. Turn paperwork now. A writing campaign, I would always win. Not if I'm counting the votes, people. Come on. Just kidding. I won't be counting votes. I'm just kidding. I'm going to read all the comments. This is hilarious. You guys are funny. Are you in the special educators Facebook group? I shared a document I received from my principal. Hold on, I'll add you. I'm not in it because, that would be one more thing for me to read. I try. I'm trying to keep up. Oh, my buddy Gary Hoffman has Google Voice. So someone's going to hook me up on how to figure out how to use that. It's probably easy. I figured out how to use Google Hangout today to have their executive board meeting. Listen, I like meeting in person with people. I like to see their body language and, talk to them. Google Hangout, it can do that, but it's not the same. It's much better than being on the phone. I hate talking on the phone. Don't call me. Email me or text me. So no live assignments, more assignments to be done independently, it would seem. Yes, maybe. It might vary from place to place. Oh, I've got a great line. I got a new answer for it. It's too close to call. I'm just pretend I work for CNN on primaries. They seem to be moving some, and some are voting. In Arizona, they're only letting one person in at a time. That's going to take forever. Or was that Chicago? I don't know. I get confused. Remote IEP meetings. What about evaluations? How can test kids if we're not in school and we can't update IEPs for kids who are due for evaluations? I'm going to leave that question to special ed. I want to give them an opportunity to meet with their staff and all of our special educators district-wide to give you the answers based on what guidance they've been getting from the Department of Education. Oh, look at all these nice people that want to be part of the special ed group. Great. More collaboration. How do you test a kid? How do you determine eligibility if you can't test them? That's a good question. And again, I'll yield to the special ed department for those answers, and Marcia, Dan, and Jess to get that information out. I know they're working on it a lot. We've been communicating via email, phone, in person, and I got a call I talked to Marcia like 7 o'clock tonight, so they're definitely working on it. Oops, someone just emailed me about Google Voice. That's good. Oh, I'm watching the numbers drop like flies. Is it because This Is Us is on in 4 minutes? You're dropping me for that? They're dropping like flies, you people. You're choosing them, This Is Us, over me. You can DVR them. I'm only live once every 3 hours. Please, no, that's not for me. Thank you. There's a lot of people saying thank you, and you're welcome. We're happy to do this. This is uncharted territory for us. Part of why we're elected is because we believe in the union and supporting each other and fighting for equality and workers' rights and everything that we need to do our jobs. When I started teaching, and I said this to the woman I student taught with, who called me to check in and told me that I was reading illegally online. Apparently, there's certain books you can't read online without a permission from the author. So I'm supposed to check to make sure the book's on the list, and well, I did it again today. So if you're looking for me, I might be at Valley Street in Manchester, and I look at it this way: 3 square meals a day, probably toilet paper, and I don't have to deal with this, right? Just kidding. I'm not going. But good news about my truck, it's not registered, and now I have till like April 30th to do it. So look for me. The silver one's gone. I have a white truck now of it. Drives real nice. People are telling okay. So I have my computer here, my iPad, and my phone. So that's why I'm all over the place. Someone wants to know what's in that can of seltzer. It's raspberry seltzer, sparkling water. It's yummy. Okay, I've hit the end of the questions. So, to recap, people are going to report tomorrow at various times in staggered groups to start working on your distance learning plans. A lot of the questions we're not sure of yet. It's going to be a day by day, minute by minute, second by second. And to be honest with you, I had sent some stuff out and it was already old when I hit send and I couldn't pull it back. So please be patient with me, with the district, with everyone, with your colleagues, with each other tomorrow. This is brand new. No one's ever done this in our district that I know of, and we'll figure it out. It's not it doesn't have to be perfect, and we're going to support each other. We'll start looking at an FAQs page on the NTU website. I would also strongly encourage all of you to go on to www.nashua.edu. Click on the COVID-19 tab. Take a look at what the district is posting, especially if you're interested about where kids can get food, sanitizing, and updates for people. I will continue to update you as I have information. My next meeting is tomorrow morning at the office at 8:30. We will be talking about next steps and questions that you have, how to best help and support you. So that's it for now. If you have questions that I didn't answer or I didn't mention because some of them got cut off and I couldn't scroll back, send me an email. Post them in Messenger on Facebook because we can copy and paste them. I am reading every email that I get. You may not be getting a response, which is very unusual. I don't like not responding, but I can't keep up. So please forgive me for that. I will do my best to answer everything as we have it. If we get an FAQ page up and running, we will let you know that's out. It will also on the NTU page, if you go to nashuatu.org, the second link on the left is free resources. Again, I haven't had time to vet anything. So please just be careful. Take a look at things before you use them. There's a lot of good things. I missed the Cincinnati Zoo thing again for science, but I'm told it was super cute. The peanut gallery behind me is telling me that. So keep me posted. Let us know how we can support you. That's what we're here for. All right. I'm going to end now. So I hope you all have a great night. Be safe tomorrow. Social distancing. If you have concerns, reach out to your building administration. They're all on the same page with us, trying to keep everyone safe, answer your concerns. They truly, truly have been awesome the last few days working together. Everything's on the table. So, all right, I'm done. I promise. I'm done for now. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night and get some sleep.